You finally got it. The job promotion, the relationship you chased for months, the money, the followers, the new house, the body you worked for. Congratulations, you made it. But now, be honest, a few days later, maybe just a few hours later, that strange emptiness creeps back in. That dull ache, that quiet voice asking, "Is this really it? What now?" And before you know it, you're already chasing the next thing. A better car, a newer phone, a different city, another goal. This feeling, this endless, exhausting cycle of wanting, getting, and then feeling nothing is not a sign that you are broken. No. According to one of the most brutally honest philosophers in history, this is proof that life itself is broken. I'm talking about Arthur Schopenhauer, the man Nietzsche called his greatest teacher, the philosopher Tolstoy read until his eyes hurt, the thinker who influenced Kafka, Beckett, Freud, Einstein, and even Wagner. A man so pessimistic that he believed optimism is not just naive, but cruel. And yet, his ideas are more relevant today than ever. Why? Because while self-help gurus keep telling you to manifest more and stay positive, Schopenhauer offers something different: the truth. In this video, I will break down 3 brutal but liberating lessons from Schopenhauer. Lesson 1. Why you cannot stop chasing things, no matter how hard you try. Lesson 2. Why every achievement eventually turns into disappointment. And Lesson 3, the most important one, the only way out of this suffering loop according to Schopenhauer. Spoiler alert, it's not meditation, it's not hustle culture, and it's definitely not buying another online course. If you have ever felt empty after success, if you are tired of running on the hamster wheel of desire, or if you just want to understand why life feels like a constant struggle, stay with me. Because this video might not make you happier, but it will make you honest. And sometimes, honesty hurts less than hope. So here is Schopenhauer's first and most terrifying idea. He believed that beneath everything you think, feel, and do, there is one single, blind, ruthless force. He called it the will, with a capital W. Not your conscious willpower, not the motivation to go to the gym or finish a project. No, this is something much deeper. The will is the raw, unconscious, relentless drive to simply keep going, to want, to crave, to reach, to consume. Schopenhauer said, "You are not a rational person who sometimes has desires. You are desire, wearing a human mask." Think about it. You don't decide to feel hungry. You don't choose to feel lonely. You don't wake up one morning and say, "Today I will start craving validation from strangers on social media." It just happens. The will rises up from inside you like a wave, and you spend all your energy trying to surf it. And here's the brutal part. The will never rests. Ever. Even when you are tired, even when you are depressed, even when you swear you don't want anything anymore, within hours, a new desire pops up. A snack, a scroll, a daydream, a revenge plan, a fantasy about a better life. Schopenhauer compared the will to an unquenchable thirst. You can drink and drink and drink, success, money, love, fame, but the thirst never goes away. It only changes shape. This is why you feel empty after achieving a goal. You thought the goal would satisfy the will, but the will doesn't want the goal. The will wants the chase. The moment you catch what you're running after, the will gets bored and invents a new target. You are not free. Your sense of freedom is just the will allowing you to choose between different cages. You can want a house or a boat. You can want approval or power, but you cannot stop wanting. That choice is not available to you. And this, right here, is why most self-help fails. Self-help tells you, Set better goals, be more disciplined, visualize success. But Schopenhauer laughs at that, because better goals are still goals. More discipline just feeds the same fire. You are not healing the disease, you are just polishing the chains. So now you might be thinking, if I can never stop wanting, and wanting always leads to suffering, is there no way out? There is, but it is not what you expect. Let me show you in section 2 why every pleasure is just a pause in pain. At the end of section 1, I left you with a heavy question. If the will never stops wanting, and wanting always hurts, is there any relief at all? Yes, but not the way you think. Schopenhauer made a shocking claim. He said, "There is no such thing as positive happiness." Let me repeat that. Happiness does not exist, not as a real thing you can catch or keep. What we call happiness is simply a brief moment when pain stops for a second. Here is his logic. Life swings back and forth between two states, pain and boredom. That's it. Two poles, nothing else. Pain comes from the will pushing you to chase something. You are thirsty? That is pain. You are lonely? Pain. You feel envy, fear, ambition? All pain. Then you act. You drink water. You call a friend. You get the promotion. For one fleeting moment, the moment between getting what you wanted and the will finding something new to want, the pain stops. That pause, we call it pleasure, or happiness, or satisfaction. But watch closely. What happens next? Either the pain returns, you get thirsty again, you get lonely again, you want more. Or, if no new desire appears, you fall into the second state, boredom. And boredom, Schopenhauer said, is just pain wearing a different mask. A quiet, gray, suffocating pain of nothing matters. So you escape boredom by inventing a new desire, a new trip, a new drama, a new goal. And the cycle starts over. Pain to chase, to brief pause, to boredom, to new pain. Forever. Think about the last time you bought something expensive. The week before, you felt that exciting tension, that "I need this" feeling. That is pain. Then you bought it. For one day, maybe two, you felt relief. You smiled. You posted a photo. Then, nothing. The thing sits on a shelf, and soon you are looking at the next thing. Schopenhauer would say, you never wanted the object. You wanted the ending of the wanting. And the tragedy is, that ending lasts only a few heartbeats. This is why rich people are often more anxious than poor people. Not because money is evil, but because when every physical need is met, the will has nowhere to go except into manufactured desires, status, envy, paranoia, luxury addictions, and boredom becomes unbearable. You are chasing something that does not exist. You are running toward happiness as if it were a destination. But happiness is not a place. It is the shadow that appears when pain stops running alongside you. And the moment you stop to rest, the shadow disappears. Now you might ask, Schopenhauer, you have destroyed everything. No lasting happiness? No escape from desire? What is the point then? And Schopenhauer would smile sadly and say, now we can finally talk about the only real freedom. So far, Schopenhauer has painted a very dark picture. The will controls you. Pleasure is just a pause in pain. Happiness does not exist. Boredom is suffering in slow motion. By now, some of you might be thinking, if this is true, why not just give up? Why not just lie in bed and wait for death? Schopenhauer has an answer, and it is surprisingly gentle. He says there are 3 doors out of the prison of the will, 3 ways to reduce suffering, not by chasing happiness, but by stepping off the wheel entirely. Door 1. Art. When you look at a beautiful painting, listen to Mozart, read a great poem, or watch a sunset without taking a photo for Instagram, something rare happens. For a few moments, you stop wanting. You are not thinking about your bills, your ex, your future, or your past. You are just present, pure perception without desire. Schopenhauer calls this aesthetic contemplation. In that state, the will falls silent. You are no longer a hungry animal. You become a clear mirror reflecting the world. And in those brief moments, suffering disappears. Not because you got something, but because you stopped wanting anything. This is why art lovers and musicians often seem calmer than CEOs. The CEO is always chasing. The artist, for a few hours, simply exists. Door 2. Compassion. The second door is compassion. Schopenhauer noticed that when you truly feel another person's pain, not out of guilt, but out of genuine recognition that their suffering is the same as yours, your own selfish will weakens. You stop obsessing over your tiny desires. For a moment, you see that the boundary between you and them is an illusion. This is the foundation of real ethics, according to Schopenhauer. Not rules, not God, not duty, just the simple, direct feeling. That hurts, and because it hurts, I will not add to it. Compassion does not make you happy, but it makes you lighter. And sometimes, less weight is better than fake joy. Door 3. Denial of the will, the hardest path. The third door is the most extreme. Schopenhauer calls it denial of the will to live. This does not mean suicide. In fact, Schopenhauer was strongly against suicide because suicide is actually an act of the will. The will says, I want to end this pain. No, denial means slowly, patiently, learning to say no to your desires. Not by force, not by punishment, but by seeing clearly that nothing you chase will ever satisfy you. When that realization becomes deep and real, not intellectual but felt in your bones, your desires naturally lose their power. You still feel hunger, you still feel cold, but you stop being enslaved by your preferences. You can eat simple food. You can be alone without panic. You can watch others succeed without envy. Schopenhauer found examples of this in Christian mystics, Buddhist monks, and Hindu saints. People who did not escape the world, but who stopped being tortured by it. Now, let me be honest. Most of us will never become saints. We will still want things. We will still fail. But Schopenhauer's gift is not a magic cure. His gift is a new relationship with suffering. Instead of saying, why is life so hard? Why can't I be happy? You start saying, of course life is hard. Of course I am not happy. That is the nature of the will. Now, what can I do with this one brief life, knowing that? And that knowledge itself, that cold, clear, honest knowledge, is a kind of peace. Not happiness, something better, something quieter. Schopenhauer would say, lower your expectations to zero, expect nothing from life, and then every small moment of relief, a cup of tea, a kind word, a beautiful sky, becomes a gift, not a right. That is his final lesson. The will never stop pushing, but you can stop being surprised by the pain. And in that lack of surprise, there is freedom. If this video made you uncomfortable, good. That is the first step. Schopenhauer does not comfort, he wakes you up. Comment below, do you agree that happiness is just the pause between pains? Or do you think there is real joy out there? I read every comment. Subscribe for more brutally honest philosophy. No toxic positivity, no fake motivation. Just the truth. And remember, the will wants you to watch another video right now. But maybe, just sit in silence for 1 minute first. That might be the most rebellious thing you do today. See you in the next one.